Hello and welcome. Today we're tackling one of the oldest, biggest questions we have. What exactly is life? It's a question that feels so simple on the surface, but the deeper you go, the more complex it gets. So we're going to explore it by looking at two totally different but equally fascinating points of view. I mean, really think about it. You could have a small, smooth stone in one hand and a seed in the other. They could look and feel almost the same, but one is just a rock, and the other holds the blueprint for a massive tree. So what is that difference? Is there some hidden force, a special spark that separates the two? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to follow the intellectual journey laid out in our source material today. It starts with this really beautiful, intuitive idea, but as we dig in, you'll see how that idea gets challenged and sharpened and eventually transforms into something, well, something much more powerful. Okay, let's get into it. Our journey really does start right there with that seed. It looks completely dormant, almost dead. And yet, we know inside it's holding this incredible potential. The mystery isn't just that it can grow, but what the heck is it in that state of just waiting? And that brings us to our first big idea, the vibration hypothesis. And honestly, it feels kind of right, doesn't it? We think of life as having a pulse, a rhythm, movement. So what if that's not just a sign of life? What if it is life? So the theory goes something like this. Vibration is this great unifier. It's everywhere, it's in everything. So maybe, just maybe, the special kind of organized vibration that's happening inside that seed, maybe that's what we call life. It's a way to connect the living and the non-living. And this is where it gets really compelling. This one idea seems to explain so much. A dormant seed isn't dead. Its vibrations are just super subtle. When you freeze an egg, you're basically hitting pause on its molecular vibrations. And these microbes that can survive for centuries, they wake up because their inner vibrations never truly stopped. They just slowed way, way down. It's a really elegant idea. Okay, so if this holds up for biology, what about the really fundamental stuff? Can we find hints of this in the laws of physics itself? Does the very nature of matter point to this connection between vibration and existence? This is where things get wild. In the world of physics, when you cool atoms down to almost absolute zero, their random, chaotic vibrations basically stop, and then they enter this truly bizarre state. It's called a Bose-Einstein condensate, where all the individual atoms start acting like one single superatom. It's like matter itself has transformed into a state of pure, unified vibration. Which brings us to this huge, kind of breathtaking conclusion for this first idea. If you can fundamentally change matter's vibrational state like that, then maybe life itself is just a very specific type of vibrational energy that brings non-living stuff to life. It's a beautiful thought, right? It feels so neat and unifying. It connects biology and physics and even gets a little philosophical. But is that it? Is that the whole story? Is it really that simple? And bam, right there with that quote, the whole story pivots. This ushers in a completely different way of looking at the problem, a perspective that isn't looking for a mystical force, but for a physical mechanism. And honestly, this changes everything. All right, so we are completely shifting gears now. This new approach, this materialistic view, isn't about finding some simple essence like vibration. It's about understanding life as a process, a result of chemistry and physics doing their thing under very specific, very organized conditions. And this table just lays out the shift so clearly. Look at how the exact same things are seen in a new light. Dormancy isn't a paused vibration. It's chemistry that has been slowed to a crawl. And a seed, it's not some symbol of a hidden spirit. It's an incredible piece of compact engineering designed to preserve information until the conditions are right. So here's the core of this new view. The universe has this fundamental rule, right? Everything tends to fall apart, to get more chaotic. Physicists call it entropy. Well, life is this incredible exception. It's like a temporary little island of order that actively fights that chaos by pulling in energy and materials to constantly build and rebuild itself. And this is the absolute key. A rock vibrates, the sun vibrates, anything with a temperature vibrates. That's not special. The magic, the real trick, is how life takes that generic, chaotic motion and organizes it, how it channels it to do useful work, like building and repairing itself. Okay, so with this new way of thinking, this new lens, let's go back to those first examples we talked about and see how they look now. Suddenly, the explanations get way more specific, way more grounded. Freezing something doesn't stop life's vibrations, it just slows down chemical reactions by lowering the kinetic energy of the molecules. Those ancient microbes don't magically come back to life, their chemistry just kicks back into gear when it gets warm and wet again. And even that superatom, it isn't motionless. Its chaotic thermal motion is just replaced by a deeply organized, coherent quantum motion. And this all points to something, well, kind of profound. There's no special life stuff. We're made of the same carbon, the same hydrogen, the same atoms as distant stars and lifeless rocks. The wonder isn't what we're made of, but the incredible, self-sustaining organization of what we're made of. Now, you might be thinking, doesn't this kind of take the magic out of it all? But the argument here is that it does the exact opposite. The real awe, the real wonder, comes from understanding the mechanism, from realizing that the ordinary, everyday rules of physics can give rise to something so mind-bogglingly complex and beautiful. And that brings us right back to where we started, with that little seed. It's no longer a metaphor for a hidden spirit. Instead, you can see it as a compact, physical argument. It's a little piece of evidence that life is a pattern, a state that ordinary matter can fall into when energy flows through it in just the right way. And in the end, this is where the journey leaves us. Life isn't magic. It's not breaking the rules of the universe. It's matter behaving with incredible persistence and creativity within the ordinary rules of physics. The wonder isn't that life is separate from the rest of the universe, but that it's one of the most amazing things the universe has learned how to do.